Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm taking a little break from working on the car, and before I take it down off the stands, I wanted to go over the front suspension because I've had a few people ask me about some of the more technical details of the car. So I figured I'll do it in steps, and while I got the front end up, it'd be a good time to do it. I kind of went over the rear end when I did the axle install videos. And in the sake of clarity, let me say that I am a UPR dealer through Speed Oasis side of things, and I want everybody to know that. I'm not trying to hide it, but I was using their products well before I became a dealer for them. But what I got on the front of this is what I would typically use if somebody come to me with a Fox body, Mustang, Thunderbird, Cougar, whatever, and said, hey, you know, I want to build a Fox body and I'm going to build a bracket car, I'm going to build a, you know, little quick grudge car or whatever. This is where I would start if it was a job that did not require a full front suspension. And what I have is the full K-member A-arm kit. This kit is, I forget the part number, but I could look at it. It's been on here for 7 years. And as you can see, it's still in really good shape. And the car does sit outside sometimes in the winter because we have limited shop space. But it does not have a sway bar mounts. This is the stripped down version for drag racing. No sway bar mounts, no spring cup mounts. It does have tow hooks. The struts are the UPR coil-over conversion kit on a set of Comp Engineering 9010 drag struts, and the caster camber plates at the top are the full steel versions to go with the K-member conversion. I cannot stress enough how much easier this car is to put headers in with this kit. Any 351 swap car, 460 swap car, first thing I do, K-member. And along the lines of that, if you're going to do a K-member and you're in the process of building your car, if at all possible, put the K-member in before you put the engine in. It can be done with the engine in the car, but it's just so much easier when the engine's out. It's about a total of 8 bolts to put it back in. You got 2 back here and the 2 at the top, and that's on each side. The 2 to tie it into the frame rail just in front of the torque box, and then the 2 up here on the main rail itself, and it's in the car. It's a total of 8 bolts, 4 on this side, 4 on that side. This one also has, let me move the camera. This one also has a Flaming River rack. That was also another wonderful addition I made. Took some weight off, and the steering is just much more responsive than it was with the bypassed factory power rack, like a lot of guys just put the loop. Never had a problem with it, never had it lock up, but this just worked out better. Got the tow hook option. I think I already said that. Hardly ever use them, but they're nice for tying it down in a trailer. They're a little high up with my front end, and when I go to the other nose I want to put on it probably next year sometime, it's really not going to be useful. I have hooked onto it, but you got to make sure you go under the core support, because core support's at this level and they're up there. This is the transmission cooler lines. You've probably seen the headers rocking. They're still not bolted in. They're just hanging on the 2 end bolts, just like it was at the end of the header video. So this is on the right side, which I didn't really show. I cannot stress enough how much easier it is to work on the car with this in it. I've had absolutely no problems with it. The finish is holding up good on it. I don't baby it. Like I said, it sits outside sometimes in the winter. The headers are starting to get a little rough looking, but y'all know that from the header video, and I will change those later. I should have probably cleaned them up and painted them. I feel a little tacky about that, but this is a temporary setup just to get through this season, and I may change it out before the end of this season. Just depends on how things go. Transmission is a early 70s C4 reverse manual valve body. Nothing really fancy. As you can see, it's still got basically the stock oil pan on it. It was built by Rory Kennedy at Rory and Son's Transmissions in Virginia Beach, Virginia. If you need your transmission worked on and you're in the Tidewater area, they do beautiful work. They did transmission in my dually, transmission in my dad's car, transmission in my mom's car, and they also did the one in Bubblegum's Camaro. And several others at the track, but those are the ones that come to mind. But yeah, the main takeaway from this, put the K-member in before you put the motor in if you can at all help it. It is a bolt in. It's one of those things that when you look at it, it's really tough, but when you think about it in a car with no motor in it, it reduces it down and it's really easy to put it in. And you really feel like you've done something when you're done with it. This is another one of those confidence building projects, as I like to say. With a set of good hand tools, torque wrench, jack stands and jacks for safety, and you know, your eye protection, and you can have a ball putting this thing in. It takes about a day, day and a half with the engine in it if you've never done it before, because you got to, you know, prop the motor up and pop the car up. If the motor's out, you can do it about 3 hours if you've never done it before. It'll take you longer to get the old K-member out and clean up everything than it will to get the new one back in. Go get it lined up, you're ready to go. And one of the other added benefit of it, let me spin you around here and get a little more camera angle going here. Those coilovers are adjustable, and you can change the ride height. And I've been able to raise the front end up and down. When I put the long tube headers on, I got the front of this car really low, or had it really low. And when I put the long tube headers on, I had to get it up in the air some, so I just twisted the coilovers up. So now it's sitting a little gasser-like, old school gasser, like the front end is about 2 inches higher than the back. But it seems to be working for it. You know, it's not a real high horsepower car. It's got 425, 450 horsepower, something like that. It's just a bracket car. It runs low sevens. I'm tickled to death with it. If I sprayed it, it would get into the sixes. I'm not going to spray this engine because I don't know enough about it. Like I said before, I did not build this engine. This is a temporary that I picked up and traded. Matter of fact, I traded one of those transmissions for this engine. So we'll see what happens. But it's 7 years old. It's a little dirty on the bottom. I need to clean it. I'll do some pictures of the back once I get everything clean, because it's covered in track bite and dust. And the other motor had leaked a little bit around the valve cover, so I got a few places I need to get some oil off of under here. It's not dripping, but it made dirt stick to it. Run a 22-inch. Turn it around here. Excuse my rotors, they're a little rusty. They've been sitting outside. Run a 22-inch Mickey Thompson. They're great for cutting lights, but if you're not careful, you go red real easy. I'm probably one of the few door cars running a tire that short. It works for me. I'm getting ready to try going with a 26-inch tire, just to try to make it a little different, because I've gotten to where I'm a little quicker than the car, and with this new motor I got to wait and see how it reacts. And I got a few other things I want to do, but the main thing I want to do, and I'm probably going to wait till after points is over, I got a set of aerospace brakes coming for it, and I'm going to put aerospace brakes all the way around on it, and that will be an upcoming video series. And speaking of, I need to do an update on the M9 project. The center section's here, the bearings are here, and I'm just waiting for the client to get his money straight, and then we're going to go ahead and get the spool, gear, and pinion, and it's going to have a Daytona pinion support and a 1350 Moser steel yoke. So we just got to wait for him to get a few dollars together, and then we'll go ahead and move forward with the M9 build project. There's some things I got to do before we start putting that rear end together. If I can get some other things out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and build the jig and all to put the perches on it and set the angle on the spring mounts, because that is going on a leaf spring car. It'll be a little different. And what's next on this? I still got to put the rocker arms on it, put the header bolts back in. I need to plug the bypass on the thermostat housing, blow out the oil pressure line to the gauge, which I think I said that in the header video. I still got to do that, and then just hook all the wiring back up, and it's put oil in it, and it's pretty well ready to start. Carburetor's ready to go on with a good baseline, and we'll tune from there. And I want to get that other filter put in up here with the regulator. I'm thinking about moving that regulator, and I need to put the regulator diaphragm in it. I may do that here in just a minute, but that's where we're at on it. Everything's moving along, and hope this helped. Hope you found it enjoyable. Go out and try something new today. Maybe this will get somebody to want to go try to put a K-member in. It's really not that hard. If there's anything y'all would like to see me do, or a skill y'all would like to see you demonstrate it, you know, comment below and I'll see what I can do about making it happen. I'd really like to know what you guys think. So until next time, I hope everybody's having a great day. Be kind to each other. Until next time, this is FAB Race Mod Repeat.